Good morning. Welcome to the Premium Public Video Forecast discussion for Friday, February 7th, 2025. We have a lot to talk about, so let's dive right into it as we have two winter storms, maybe a third one that we're going to be keeping an eye on. And today we're going to pretty much focus on the one setting up for tomorrow evening into early Sunday morning. And then we also have the one on Tuesday we're going to be watching out for. And then also, so you know, we will have live coverage tomorrow afternoon and evening covering the evolution of this storm. So let's dive into some of the data. Before we do anything, we need to understand the weather pattern that we are in. So we've already broken down polar vortex and tropical forcing, all that stuff over the past couple of weeks and months. So when we take a look at the 500 millibar pattern, what are the themes that I'd focus on as a meteorologist? Well, for one, I look out west and I see no strong ridge. Sure, I see a ridge popping in the Gulf of Alaska from time to time, but generally there is no sustained ridge that I'd want to see for a wave of winter storms locked in onto the coastal plain. So this tells me, okay, now first of all, what I want to see is a ridge around the Rockies, like right around, let's say, Idaho and Montana, right around here, right about the face, right about there. When I get a ridge axis there, everything locks in perfectly. The forecast is very easy and everything streams together very nicely. When you don't have that, that is when total chaos happens, okay? Because with this signal here, when you got this big upper level low sitting around the Hudson Bay and kind of a 50-50 low signal showing up here as well, it sets up the potential to get cold air to lock in if everything phases just right, interacts just right. And it also leads to a lot of wintry mix mess. It also prevents your low pressure system from cutting up to the Great Lakes, but it can certainly cut up towards either the Delmarva Peninsula or the coastal waters, or as far west as, say, central Pennsylvania and New York before redeveloping into the Gulf of Maine. So that is generally your guardrails of where your storm tracks could be around the region. It is very difficult to lock in as a coastal track, not impossible, as we will see over the for Tuesday, but difficult. And because of that, you really have to be aware of the model solutions beyond 5 days, in that they may not actually be showing the realistic solution, because a lot of it comes down to the interaction between the polar and subtropical jet streams. So a storm that looks like it's cutting to the west of us might actually trend and end up further south of us because of the way that the short waves interact. And if there's any delay in that, you can end up with a more southern and colder solution. With that being said, in this pattern, you typically do not end up with strong low pressure systems. So you want to stay away from any type of monster bomb like what's showing up here, unless you get a literal perfect phase. And even in that perfect phase solution, it's more likely to be over the interior because the phase has to happen a little bit earlier. This is why a ridge axis around here, even this little bit further west, and being so flat and knocked down, is just not enough. You need a robust ridge here to lock in the wavelength, to lock in a storm track over the coastal waters. So now we understand what that theme is. Now we can understand what type of factors are we dealing with here. Okay, so we know that we have weak short waves that we're going to be dealing with, and we know that they're going to be progressive because the block here is a little bit further north. So as a result, our low pressure systems are going to be chugging along. They're not going to be hanging around, pivoting, all that stuff that you would see with a nor'easter. So now let's dive into the observations. So right now we have another cold front approaching the region. The atmosphere is very dry though, so no real precipitation aside from some lake enhancement off of the Finger Lakes and around the Great Lakes, around Lake Ontario and Erie. So these cold fronts are going to be dropping through, knocking down our 850 millibar temperatures. Our temperatures right now range from the lower to mid 30s over the northern interior, mid to upper 30s in the Lehigh Valley and suburbs to the north and west of the major cities, and upper 30s, should I say lower to mid 40s along the coast. And that generally is what is going to be our high temperatures for today. Temperatures aren't going to be moving all that much from this point on. you can see the strong cold air transport. So this shows that the cold air is starting to lock in, build in, and here we are at 925 millibars, that cold air coming in as well. So we're seeing a bit of a delay at the surface because of orographic impacts, but you can see the cold air streaming in. So we're getting the cold air in place. Again, any type of precipitation with this cold front is generally focused or driven by the interaction with the Great Lakes and the Finger Lakes. So by the time it moves through our neck of the woods, you might see a passing flurry, but for the most part, just scattered clouds around the region. Take a look at the infrared satellite picture. Notice the movement of the clouds, west to east. There's nothing blowing up here, trying to lift northward or anything of that nature. You're seeing a lot of these clouds moving west to east, and you can see that here in the water vapor satellite picture. So again, progressive nature of the pattern. You're seeing not a huge shift north or south of the thermal gradient field. Okay, only slight adjustments here and there with these short waves moving through. And also notice these short waves moving through on both satellites. Not a lot of cold cloud tops here. Okay, not a lot of strong lifting. So these are weaker short waves driven mostly by the development of isotropic lifting. That's how we're developing our precipitation. Isotropic lifting is basically, in the most basic terms, warm air trying to move over cold air. Okay, and that leads to precipitation. On our jet stream here at 250 millibars, let's see if we can zoom out a little bit. And again, very zonal here. Okay, very progressive. So anything that marches along is going to just keep on moving to the east at a very progressive pace. So this cuts down your storm time and also puts a limit on what you can get in terms of precipitation totals because the storms just don't linger around. So you're starting to create that limitation on both sides of what you can expect for precipitation in this environment. Again, notice leading up to our storm that's setting up for tomorrow, no real ridge over the west. So that means, in terms of the wavelength potential, this low is going to be weak, right? So when we look at the 500 millibar PVA, it's not really that impressive. Okay, your strongest short waves in the polar jet stream, and that's passing to your north. So this opens up a couple of factors here. You know you're going to have warm air transport at 500 to 700 millibars because your main shortwave is passing to your north. Okay, and that's for the entire region. So when you look at this, then you study 850 millibars. Well, the 850 millibar low basically develops right over northeastern Pennsylvania and the New York City metro and then off into southern New England. So what does this mean? This means you're going to get your thermal gradient setting up right around these regions at 850 millibars. You're going to be on the warm side of that gradient down towards southern New Jersey and the Philadelphia metro. And you're going to be on the cold side of that gradient in the New York City metro and in northern New Jersey, the interior, Connecticut. So then the question is, as this is developing, how far north does the mid-level warm air gets? And so you have to look at what we call a skew T to understand the layers in the atmosphere. And the problem in this solution is that your warmest layer to impact your precipitation types is above 850 millibars. So that means all your snow maps that you're looking at right now, studying the 850 millibar temperatures, well, they're a bit deceiving. See, because it looks plenty cold enough for pretty much all snow for New York City, right? But in reality, you really have a wintry mix scenario setting up here, right? Because your warmer air is further north. So it's an easy forecast for central New Jersey, southern New Jersey, 8 degrees Celsius. That's rain, right? That's pretty easy. Philadelphia metro, it looks warm, right? It looks like, hey, look, this is all warm. This is going to be rain. Wait for it. So this setup here tells me not snow, but sleet. So with that being the case, you really have to be careful if you're going to be looking at these snow maps that are showing up, or if you're looking at your iPhone or whatnot, and it shows on the app weather. The app weather is pure model. Okay, so it doesn't understand, or it doesn't have the capability of understanding. Hey, look, instead of it being 6 inches of snow, it may actually be more like 2 or 3 inches of snow and sleet. So that is a factor that you have to consider. And again, 925 millibars, same thing here in this setup. Okay, it looks cold enough, looks impressive, but there is that factor with sleet being an issue. Meanwhile, down in southeastern Pennsylvania during that same time period, notice the temperatures, while 850 millibar temperatures are well above freezing, your surface temperatures, well, they're not. Okay, so let me pull this up here, make sure we're at the 0Z guidance here. Okay, so you could see here as we get to 8 p.m., we're into 20s in southeastern Pennsylvania. By 1 a.m., we're still into 20s, right around 30 degrees in Philadelphia. Notice New Jersey coast is plenty warm. And by the time we get to 7 a.m., we haven't broken freezing here. But your 850 millibar temperatures are, as you know, well above freezing. This is screaming freezing rain in these areas. Why don't we see the same thing in coastal New Jersey? Because that easterly wind that veers to the northwest is still influencing, it's coming in from the Atlantic Ocean. So you're warming up pretty nice here, but that northeasterly wind veering back to the northwest, it keeps your temperatures below freezing here because you have your surface low starting to organize. So when you take a look at this setup here, you have your mid-level lows kind of all disjointed in different layers, going from southeast to northwest. Southeast, further southeast is the surface low, further northwest is the 500 millibar low. So as a result, you have to stagger your precipitation types, right? Sorry, hit the mic there. In that scenario. So again, there's our new surface low that starts to develop. So the warm air invades the coast, but that northeasterly wind that starts to take hold blocks in the cold air here, setting up for ice. Now, based on the urban heat island effect, I went a little bit warmer around Philadelphia, mixing you back over to plain rain at like 33, 34 degrees. But this is really a concern here for significant ice. This is more sleet here than snow. This is all snow. This area up here is all snow as a result. So, based on that, and also based on the speed in which this low pressure system moves, this is the forecast I'm looking at. Zone 1 is where I have all snow, and that's where I got 4 to 8 inches of snow. Zone 2 is going to be snow and sleet. I think this stays all frozen throughout the event. That sleet's going to hold down your snowfall totals, so we're looking at 2 to 4 inches of icy slop. Zone 3 is where I'm worried about the freezing rain threat here. Again, you're going to have rain falling and temperatures around 29 degrees. Not good. So we could be looking at 10th to 3/10 of an inch of ice. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I get up to 33 degrees for this entire region, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, and this is going to be a major problem in these areas once again. Philadelphia, you're right on the edge of that. Again, watch out. If you get up to 33, 34, it's going to be close. Just to your east in zone 4, that's where we have a wintry mix of 1 to 2 inches of snow, but then changes over to a trace of ice and then quickly over to rain. And then zone 5, southern New Jersey, you go over to rain the fastest, a trace to an inch of snow, maybe a trace of ice and some sleet and brief freezing rain, and then going over to about half an inch to an inch of rain in this setup as this storm moves through. After that, we have another storm that we're going to be keeping an eye on. And I'll briefly touch on that in that this storm, again, very weak mid shortwave in the subtropical jet stream. Your polar shortwave is back here. And so this opens up again with a nice thermal gradient setting up. You got your 850 millibar low passing through. Not very well organized, but enough to drive enough lifting, enough isotropic lifting to set up a nice little moderate snowfall. But again, look how fast it moves, right? And we'll get to the next storm after that in just a second. And so in this event for Tuesday, the warm air transport is not as strong. A lot of the I-95 corridor and the northern interior stays as a frozen precipitation, either snow and snow sleet. Southern New Jersey, that's where things get a little bit more dicey with this scenario. But again, we'll watch this very carefully. We have time to study this. But it looks like a pretty good 10 to 1, maybe 12 to 1 type of snow ratio set up here 9 to 25 millibars during this storm. Again, pretty cold, not bad for most of the storm, setting up snow, maybe ending up as a little bit of sleet at the very end. Southern New Jersey is where you have your best potential for changing over, and your surface temperatures are certainly cold enough for snow for the entire event. So that also opens up your storm potential. And then finally, the last one, well, maybe not the last one in this string, but the last one in this video that I'll discuss is another short wave. But this one, remember what I said beforehand, if they phase too early, they will be able to cut up towards central Pennsylvania. And that is essentially what you're seeing here on Thursday. Word of warning, if this short wave doesn't interact with this short wave as quickly as it's showing in the guidance right now, this will end up further south and you end up with a colder solution. So this is about 7 days out. We have some time to watch it. Right now, it looks like we're going to be on the warm side, but just be aware we might be looking at another winter storm for Thursday as well, if things change in terms of that interaction. So that's a lot going on over the next couple of days. So let's walk through the forecast just as a review for today. Absolutely beautiful out. Temperatures rising into the upper 20s to mid 30s over the northern interior, upper 30s to lower 40s in the Lehigh Valley, lower to mid 40s everywhere else. Temperatures will fall this evening, and by tomorrow morning, with scattered cloud cover, we'll have lows in the mid to upper teens over the northern interior, lower to mid 20s along the coast. For tomorrow afternoon, clouds increase, snow showers begin to develop from south to north. Look for high temperatures ranging from the mid to upper 20s over the northern interior, lower to mid 30s along the coast. And this is going to be more towards the midnight hour. Why? Our precipitation is going to be invading, starting out as a few snow showers from 3 to 5, and then from 5 to 7, it will expand and become steady. While that's happening, warm air will continue to push northward. Now, in this setup, understand this is 34 in rain, maybe 35 in rain, okay? In this setup here, I would have snow steady up here. Again, you got your wintry mix of snow, sleet, maybe a little freezing rain in this zone, and then freezing rain concerns here. By the time we get to Sunday, the storm starts to exit, skies start to clear by mid-Sunday morning. Low temperatures on Sunday morning will range from the lower to mid-20s over the northern interior and upper 20s to lower 30s along the coast. High temperatures will rebound into the upper 20s to lower 30s over the northern interior, mid to upper 30s along the coast. On Monday, high pressure will be in control with scattered cloud cover expected. Look for low temperatures in the single digits to lower teens over the northern interior, mid to upper teens in your suburbs, lower 20s in your urban areas. High temperatures will rebound into the mid to upper 20s over the northern interior, lower to mid 30s along the coast. On Tuesday, our next storm approaches with snow developing towards the late afternoon and evening hours. Look for low temperatures ranging from the single digits over the interior, lower to mid teens in your suburbs, and upper teens to lower 20s in your urban areas. High temperatures will range from the upper 20s over the interior, lower to mid 30s along the coast. Periods of snow continue Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning. Again, there's that rainfall potential around the Jersey Shore and down towards southern New Jersey. Snow over central New Jersey, let's say interior central New Jersey, interior Monmouth County, back through the Philadelphia metro and into the New York City metro. A nice accumulating snowfall for sure. We could be looking at somewhere like a 3 to 6 or 4 to 8 inch snowfall. You kind of want to limit the snowfall amounts in this because the storm is moving so fast. So by the time we get to Wednesday morning, this is already clearing out with a few lingering rain and snow showers with low temperatures in the lower to mid 20s over the northern interior, upper 20s to lower 30s along the coast. So let's remove the rain, just go with a few lingering snow showers. By the afternoon, scattered cloud cover is expected. You have a few troughs hanging around with a few flurries with high temperatures ranging from the upper 20s to lower 30s over the northern interior, lower to mid 30s along the coast. On Thursday, here comes our next storm. Again, this looks like a wintry mix to rain over the interior and rain along the coast. but that all depends on the interaction of this short wave later on in the week. So we'll watch and see how that takes shape. Right now, we're looking at low temperatures in the lower to mid 30s, high temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s over the northern interior, mid to upper 40s in the New York City metro, and upper 40s to lower 50s in the Philadelphia metro. Highly volatile period of weather right here. After the storm leaves on Thursday, we finally calm down on Friday with high pressure and control, low temperatures in the lower to mid teens over the northern interior, upper teens to lower 20s along the coast, and high temperatures in the upper teens to lower 20s over the northern interior, mid to upper 20s in the New York City metro, and upper 20s to lower 30s in the Philadelphia metro. Well, that is a lot that we covered for this morning. If you're interested in these discussions every day, definitely check out the latest premium consulting membership, for only $15 a month. So definitely check that out. And if you want to help out the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. In the meantime, stay safe out there.